Hey Justina, just going to go over some basics of how to use WordPress and edit posts and pages and all that good stuff. So once you sign into WordPress, this is what you'll initially see is this page right here. Um, so just to get started with some of the simple stuff, if you want to add a page, you can actually go up to this drop down here, and this is like a quick add. In the back end, there's pages. All pages will list it. Add new. We'll just immediately go to it. It's the same thing for posts. Posts work a little bit different. It's kind of like a blog. It's kind of like a blog setup. I saw quite a few pages that ideally should be set up as a blog. So it's probably something that we'll end up doing down the road. But for right now, everything's just set up as a page. Alright, so once you click on all pages, it will list every page in the site. Up at the top and bottom, here's arrows to jump through the different pages. Also, there is quick edits if you just want to change like the title. The slug is the ending URL. So at the end of the URL name itself, the slug would be like WP admin up here. If you want to change the author, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just really quick editing. So let's just go in and edit a post, and I'll run you through this. Alright, so this is just a basic under construction page, which is fine, because I actually need to delete this page anyways. So if you want to delete anything in here, you actually just click on this little garbage can icon right here, and that will delete the element, the builder element, column options, stuff like that. What I've done is for a lot of the pages that that kind of have similar templates or similar layouts, I went and made them as custom templates. So if you go to the custom templates section, you can actually preload any of them into here, and it will just populate the page with whatever I've set up. And ideally, so if you're going to have a picture up at the top and you want that, like, let's just publish this and I'll show you. Alright, so if you're going to want the picture up at the top and you want it to be centered with this background, that's actually a CSS style that's pulling all that information. So whenever you're editing just like an element or a text box or the actual container inside, you want to hover your mouse over it and then this little menu will appear. These up here actually edit the container itself. Which, I mean, there is some options in here if you just want to set a background color to it, stuff like that. The whole reason that I even use them is to set a custom CSS class. So like in every single template, that top picture will be set as info banner, and then that tells it to pull in that CSS for it. And then same with these little sub menus. The CSS is page menu. So let's just get into building and editing pages. So let's just start from scratch so you can kind of see how it works. Alright, so ideally you want to set everything in a full width container, because that will limit it so it's in a line with all the other pages, like how it looks and lays out. From there, I mean, you can really do whatever you want in terms of column layout. I'm just going to do something simple here. Now I use text blocks for pretty much everything, and the reason that it um, is it works. I mean, just like a Word document for the most part. You can set different heading types. If you hover your mouse over all these, it will actually tell you what they do. So I'm not going to go crazy into detail with that kind of stuff. But one thing I do want to cover, if you're going to copy and paste something from like a Word document, you need to make sure that you're pasting it into the text. And the reason that you want to do that is because it will strip out any of the styling or anything that comes along with it. Because a lot of times, like Microsoft Office includes really, really weird styling whenever you're pasting it into WordPress. WordPress tries to copy any HTML styles that any other site has, which is nice, but the problem is that a lot of the times you don't have CSS styles assigned to the divs that they try to pull in. So I mean that doesn't really help you. It helps if you're trying to like copy and paste something from your own site, because then you won't have to restyle it. So that's just something nice. Alright, so just really quickly, I just made a little layout. This is the heading, this is just standard text, and that's going to be just a little bullet point list, and that'll be on the left side. The right side again, it will be something similar, but we're going to actually add a picture to it. And whenever you're adding pictures, what you want to do is you want to select where you want the picture to actually be added in. So if you want it to float on the left or right side, or centered, center doesn't really matter because it will push the content on both sides down and up, so it won't really like float around the wording. But if you want it to float like on the right side of this, and the wording will just automatically kind of float along the edge, you really want to pick on where you want like the top left or top right corner of that picture to be. So I'll click right there and add media. So during this you can either select files, and it will be pretty typical. You know, you can just click any picture if you know what folder you're looking for, or you can actually drag and drop it. I know you can't see outside of my browser window, but I am just going to pull something off my desktop. So if you just drag and drop it in there, the screen will turn blue and then it will automatically upload. And if you want to use an image from like a different page, for example, instead of going to this upload tab, you can just go to the media library, and every picture that I've uploaded into the site will be listed here. Same with like PDFs and stuff like that. So finding stuff again is actually fairly easy. You can also do that through the media library itself. This is just kind of like a quick library. But once you have the picture selected that you want to use, you can assign, quickly what alignment you want. I want it to be right. I don't want it to have any link. The link to media file will actually link it like off page. The background will be black and it will just be the picture whenever you click on it. Attachment page, you should really never use. It's kind of weird. So it linked to the media file, but inside of the theme of the website. But it wouldn't actually like, it just wouldn't look right. It's really weird looking. I mean, you can use it if you want. Again, custom URL, you can have it linked to anything you want. And I normally just have them linked to none. In terms of sizing goes, I normally bring them in as either full size or large, because you can see the starting dimensions. The website's only 1080 pix wide. So obviously this one is more than large enough for half the page, so a quarter of the page. And you just click on insert into page, but once you've done that, you can always just click on the image and it will bring up this little like quick image menu where you can easily select lines. If you want to edit the image, just click on the little pencil. Again, you can change the align, stuff like that. If you click on advanced options, you can give it CSS classes to open the link in a new tab. If you want to add a link later on, it's right there. But one thing that I really like is you can change the size on the fly if you select custom size. And the width, I want it to be 250 pix, and it will automatically maintain the aspect ratio. So if you know that you're gonna have 5 pictures and you all want them to line up like evenly, you'd either change the width or the height of each one so they're all identical, and then it will auto adjust the other side. And just click update, and there it is. Alright, so I'm going to put a header on this so it looks normal. Let's give it a CSS class. And once you're done actually setting up the page, you just push publish, and it will, of course, publish the page. From there, it automatically gets added into the sitemap, and there it is. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, if you just play around with it enough, what's really nice is this theme actually has like drag and drop options. So once you set up the columns and stuff, where you'll find most of the things that you actually want to use is under builder elements. And as always, you just drag and drop stuff in there, and then each one has different options. So to add a button to this, I've actually already styled all the buttons, so you don't want to change the defaults on any of this stuff. What you want to do is you'd either change it if you want the link to open in the page that it's linked on, or if you want it to open in a new tab. So underscore blank is a new tab. You type the button URL in. So I'm just going to make it that page so it links off. And change the button text here. And then the alignment of the buttons all the way down at the bottom. I mean, as you can see, there's a bunch of different options. So it's really limited by your creativity of what you want to do. Gonna have it centered in there, and that's how all this stuff works. I mean, it's really once you learn like what each element has for options, adding stuff gets quicker and quicker. Anytime you make a change, you just want to update it, and then of course appear on a page. Also, if you want to add any straight HTML in, the place where you'd want to do that is under the text editor. So I mean, as you can see here, there's H3 tags. Here's list tags. So if you want to add a PayPal button to anywhere on the site, that's where you'd want to do it. You want to find the element, stuff like that. Once you're signed into the page, if you want to edit any random page, you can actually select it on the front end. This little like black bar will appear up here. And of course, if you want to edit the page you're on, you just click on edit page up here. You can also quickly go to the new tab, and it will show you this same exact thing. So that's pretty much editing a page, setting it up, laying it out. Whenever you first get in here, please be careful not to delete any of these. So each one of these are are different custom templates, which I've used at least more than once per template, depending on the page. So if you click delete, it will actually delete the template. It won't delete the page or affect any of the old pages, but it will delete the template. So you'll have to go to a page that has that template and then save it as a template again if you want it as a template. Also, anytime that you load a new template, it will delete all the content on the page. So ideally, you really only want to load a template whenever you're first building a page, or you can first save the page as a template, and there it is. So loading a new one will completely delete anything that was on that page. But if you saved it right before you did that, then it will automatically pull back in whatever you had in there. So let's run through some other stuff. Over here in the back end on the top right of every page, if you want to block the page so they're required to sign in, to view the page, what you do is you just click this checkbox and then update the page. And that would make sure that they have to be signed into the site before they are able to view it. If they're not signed in, then it will prompt them to sign in or register. So that's kind of how we're going to hide stuff or force them to register. We go over this quickly. So if you're going to build a new page under pre-adoption parents, what you want to do is you come over here on the page attributes under parent, and then you just select pre-adoptive parents overview. And what that will do is it will put it in the sitemap in the correct place, but it will also it will help you in terms of SEO too, because with SEO it actually it's not just the header or the titles, it's also the URL. They all kind of need to link up. So once I've selected that parent and you update the page, you'll actually see that this URL right here, the permalink, has changed. And that changes where the page is actually located. So now you can see it's under Information Center, Pre-Adopted Parents, and then Test. And then also, you can't change this permalink without changing the parent itself. So if you wanted to do that, you'd have to open the pre-adoptive parents page and then change that, and then it would automatically change all the other permalinks under it. So that's really nice. Like, it rebuilds the structure. So if you want to change pre-adoptive parents and take out overview, you would just open the pre-adoptive parents overview page, and you'd actually edit it just like I can edit test here. Replace it with anything you want, and then push OK. And then it will update the URL. Of course, to make it live on the site, you do have to update the page. But then you can see up here that it did take it. So I mean that's pretty much building pages and updating the URLs. Here's some more options down here. You really shouldn't ever have to play with these unless you really just start getting creative. Of course, you can look at all this stuff, just read it over quickly. It's fairly self-explanatory. If for some reason, if you don't want the page to display the header, you would just turn it off in that option. Of course, there is no header. If you want to add a slider at the top of the page, which I think there's actually only one slider. Sliders would be under Fusion sliders. It's actually under Revolution is the one that I built. So I can give you permissions to that if you need to change it. But right here, so there's multiple ways to add in a slider. Revolution has the most options. So you just select Home Slider. Tell it where to go. And what type of slider to actually pick from. And that should pull in the home page slider now on top. That's why. I was wondering why none of these options are taken, because I was refreshing the wrong page. Okay. So there you go. Obviously, it's way off because it's not assigned in an element. The way that I actually have it called in on the home page is I have it actually dropped in a container, and then there's actually a builder element for Revolution slider, and then under the options you select the slider type that you want, which would be home. I'll update the page. While that's refreshed, I'm going to turn this back off. Refresh it again. Alright, so this one will disappear. This is the one that's actually in the page element that looks normal. There you go. And now I'm actually refreshing the right page. I'll turn off the header again, just so you can kind of see. I mean, you can customize this page by page, and it's fairly simple to do so. And there you go. So that just stripped the header out of only this page. You can do the same thing with the footer. I mean, just, you know, really whatever you want to do. Let's say that you just want to delete a page like I'm going to do with this one. All you do is you click Move to Trash right here. It's right next to Update. But before I do that, I do want to show you something else. So if you're working on a site and you don't want it to be, you know, live to the public, you can turn it to private. And what private will do is it will require an editor or above to be logged into the site to be able to view it. So, you know, like a standard just internet browser won't be able to actually view the page. And then you really don't have to worry about like someone else, you know, seeing as you're making mistakes, or, you know, just affecting search engine ranking, anything like that. So that was under visibility. And always, I mean, if you want it to be live to the public, then it needs to be public. Also, if you want to make a post that's only viewable to admin editor, or just someone that you want to share the password with, you would just do password protected and enter a password, and then whenever they load that page, it will prompt them for a password just to view the content on that page. Also, if you want to publish it for a future date, so say that you want to build out a page for a new event, but you don't want anyone to see the event until, you know, let's say Friday. You would just change the date on when it will actually publish. So let's make it May 22nd, 2015, and then you can change the time too. And then once you do that, WordPress will automatically publish that page whenever it hits that time. And then you just schedule it, and it's, you know, it's that simple. So that way you can build out your content well before it's time to actually have it release, and not really worry about like, oh my God, I have to be awake at, you know, midnight to turn this thing on. WordPress will just do that for you. Alright, so I'm going to delete that page. And what it will do is it will move it to the trash under all pages. And if you really don't want it, you just hit delete permanently. It will open up that identical URL string to use again, and so on. So posts work about the same way. I still haven't made any posts. I think I'm actually gonna put all the adoption testimonials inside of posts. So if people want to go look at them, it will kind of just display them like blog posts. And you guys actually have a bunch that I found randomly throughout the site on random different pages. So it just makes a lot of sense for it to be as a post, and also a lot of cool things that you can do with posts. I am going to build out a sidebar so Margaret can see it. And with posts, you can actually have a widget that will kind of like scroll through the posts. So whenever someone's on a page, they'll see like the most recent testimonials, or just stuff like that. But so posts work a lot like pages. The big difference is that you can put them into categories. So again, I really haven't done much in here yet. Uncategorized is the default, but we could change this to like testimonials, and then you could have a link that goes to testimonials, and it will list every single post under that category for quick viewing, stuff like that, if you want to call it for a widget or something like that. Something on the back end, the media library. I'll quickly go through that. So if you want to just randomly add a picture, you can store it in the back end here, documents, whatever you want. You just click add new. Again, you can drag drop here, select the file, pick what you want. But what's really nice is if you want to actually like get a URL to a specific image, you go to the media library, you click on the image, and then right here is actually the URL to where the image is stored on the website. So if you ever want to add it into a template file, or really anything that you'd need a direct URL for, that's exactly where you'd pull it from. Alright, here's the contact forms. Let's see. Team is the homepage team. I can show you that quickly. So here's all the contact forms. You really shouldn't have to edit them. Now these aren't drag and drop, so if you do edit them, please be careful. So for example, this is the adoption application. It took quite a while to do this. So just in case, I'm going to go to a simpler one. Our team, which I still have to finish building out, is right here on the home page, and that's this section right here. So you can add new member groups, just view the team, change the options. And again, this works very similar. Almost everything in the back end, like adding a post, a lot of the plugins, they're all very similar to your standard, build out. But of course, they all change depending on what they're going to do. So, for example, you'd put the username up here, and then under free HTML is where you'd actually write the description about them. If you want to give a job title, email, all that stuff is right under here. Again, social profile links, stuff like that. And then all you do is make sure that they're assigned to the EAC group, because that's the plugin on the home page. That's the group that's told to pull to populate that. So you definitely want to make sure they're assigned to that group, and then update it, and it would automatically appear on the home page. Alright, so let's go over the contact page, or the home page contact form, which is this one down here. So it's pretty simple. It's really not too terrible. So what you want to do if you want to make a contact form, you just click on Add New. Up here you would change the name, and then depending on what field you want, so you want a text field, you want it to be required, I'll just call it test, and then from here on the bottom you'd copy and paste this code into the form itself over here, and then down here is what's actually emailed out. So you'd want to add a little section down here and then paste that in, and then whenever someone fills in this test field, it will also be emailed out to you right there in the email. Well, this is probably going to mess this up a little, but yeah, so this would be the test field right here. That's the new field that just got added. And again, you can do that drop down menu, checkbox, CAPTCHA, submit button, all that good stuff. So it's all pretty straightforward. Alright, I think that's actually going to cover the basics of it. If you have any questions or if you run into problems, just let me know. On the contact forms also, what you definitely don't want to do is alter these things down here. This is actually what tells it what fields to store in the database and how to make them searchable. So if you do make a new contact form, I mean, you could just tell me and I'll tell you what to put in here. Yeah, but so for the most part, if you just copied and pasted this, put it into the new contact form that you're making, what's important is that these, like email, would need to be specific to what you have over here. So as long as these line up, then it will know what to pull to save in the database. But I think that will cover any basic questions that you'd have, help you get started. And of course, I mean, if you need help with anything else, just write me an email or give me a call. All right, thanks.